When I got back from Wakanda, I felt stuck. To bring my ideas to life, I need cash.
Well, here we are. Ironheart is out, and at the time of recording this, there were only 3 episodes. But everyone's always like, why are you being weird? Don't knock something until you try it. So fine, let's try it. I have a really good eye for things, and I can tell from looking at a trailer whether something's gonna be ass. I'm usually very good at that. But you know, one thing I'll give it for bad low-budget productions is that it does tend to be comedic relief. Just like the good old days. Remember those stupid sci-fi movies and the Land Before Time reviews? In my eyes, this is no different. So, let's start off.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Feeling the show's about to crash and burn as hard as she did. Did they use the manhole for the O in the name? Clever and fitting.
Here we go. Okay. Just to let you know, your girlfriend be bigger than Jobs.
Right.
Bigger than Gates.
Right.
Bigger than Pym.
Right.
Bigger than Stark.
Yeah.
Come on.
Call me crazy, but her unwarranted fluffed up ego right at the start of the show isn't really selling it for me. You're finna be better than all of them combined? And I guess it's supposed to be like a lofty affirmation or something. That's crazy work to me. I also find it that the people who like to dog on billionaires and millionaires and stuff, when they're honest with themselves, are always aspiring to be one of them. If we're talking about superheroes, the whole trailer and the whole vibe around this person is not giving. Tony Stark already started off as very full of himself, and there were several situations and occurrences that came to pass that forced him to be humble. The thing is, his ego was warranted and deserved because he's already here. He's already made it. And even still, old boy had to get humbled real fast. But person, you already are starting from a place where you have nothing and your ego is through the roof. Why? You haven't made it. You haven't gotten anywhere. You haven't even gotten your shit together. So I'm sorry, this whole thing that she's putting off just makes her come off as very narcissistic and extremely unlikable. And then you're looking at the biggest titans in the industry and you're like, I'm gonna be bigger than all of them. I have to name off every single rich white dude in this universe and say I'm gonna top them. I don't know if Disney or Marvel knows this, but it is possible for you to write strong female characters without them having to put down other characters who just happen to have something swinging in between their legs. I don't know when this show was written, but I have a feeling it was around the era when all the females in Marvel were like super full of themselves and extremely aggravating to watch.
I'm not about to let a man take credit for a woman's work.
Okay, to be fair, it's been a thing in Hollywood, but good grief, they need to put it to rest.
What do you want?
Want anything. A knife with Thor in his hammer.
Alright, see, now we gotta cut the video.
Okay, let me start over. No, I just want to be happy.
Oh, how sweet. Great way to start off. One friend's a narcissist and a money-hungry person and the other one's a hoe. But at the very least, I'll give him that. The best friend is already way more likable in this scene. Because all she wants is to be happy, God forbid. Meanwhile, her boxhead friend is like, gonna be bigger than Tony Stark and Hank Pym and every single one of them. But then I like how later on in the show, she's claiming that she wants to help people. You'll see what I'm talking about. Oh, this could save the world and help people. Really? We all know that's not your main goal. Aren't you supposed to be better than Tony Stark and all the others?
I just want to be happy.
Ew, what is this supposed to be? This is trash. Oh my god. I know this is supposed to be cute because it's a flashback of them. Apparently something happened to the friend, and we're supposed to believe that, oh, they had such a great friendship. You couldn't be any more unconvincing that you guys are friends. That's how you start this off. If you want us to invest in the character, show us something real between them. And I understand, for Marvel, that's too much to ask for.
I'm here because I can be the greatest inventor of my generation, which doesn't mean much without the resources to bring my ideas to life. After my internship abroad, I realized I'm gonna need the equivalent of a whole vibranium mountain to be great.
Okay.
So you'll notice that the whole theme throughout the show is she needs money. She needs money. She needs money. She needs money. And she has to always be saying it and verbalizing it because we, the audience, are too stupid to realize that, and so it bears repeating.
I'm gonna need the equivalent of a whole vibranium mountain to be great. I need cash, money. Do you think Tony Stark would be Tony Stark if he wasn't a billionaire? No shade. That's just the way the world works.
Yeah, I'll give her that. The world does work like that. You do need money. But for people to also get money and become what they are, and build an empire, you need to actually be smart. Now it's much harder with monopolies. But granted, in this universe, we already have an example of someone being able to achieve something without any money.
Honestly, it's impossible.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Carry on.
Job in Palo Alto with a tiny window and a bunch of guys I have to pretend to like.
Good lord. Very interesting to say that to the people who are likely responsible for approving your grants or academic standing. And you're telling them all of this like they're supposed to care. Bro, what is this character? And for people who don't understand why this makes her unlikable, she's here talking down to the people who are trying to hold her accountable and letting her know that she's going down a bad path. She constantly acts superior despite her academic failures. She's entitled. She's using their resources, grant money and facilities, and then sneers at the very system she's mooching off of. Bro is straight up being reckless and expecting people to praise her for it or something. And this is supposed to be a strong female character. And here's what makes it very weird, because I don't really understand in this universe or at this specific time in the MCU what setting or timeline we're supposed to be in, because technology is a thing. She's building a robot suit and we have a world where Iron Man exists. And so does social media. It's not like she can't take advantage of crowdfunding. Talented people get discovered through YouTube and TikTok and venture capital all the time. Innovators who truly believe in their work are building stuff in their garages like that little kid was in that Iron Man movie. They're building it in their basements or out of stolen time. Not college labs funded by grants, because a lot of them can't even get into college.
I want to build something undeniable.
And do it, bitch. Bro, we're supposed to believe this person is a genius, but she doesn't know how to build a social media following, attract a seed investor, file a patent, or get something together and have a business mind so she can know how to get money without doing what she's doing, which is extremely inefficient.
When it fits a woman.
Bro, how are we supposed to believe that this person is a genius, but she can't do the bare minimum to know how to run a business or start one, or start small? She's written as though the only way forward is through college, and she acts like she's better than college. Good lord, the contradiction makes her character just look so freaking arrogant and honestly very freaking stupid and lazy. And let me guess, the only way forward is a life of crime.
I want real life scientific epiphanies. You want me to do homework I have to explain to my professors. You want me to be small. But I refuse.
Riri, that's a hot pile of garbage. Trash, and you know it. Who here asked you to be small?
Exactly. Thank you, freaking dumbass. I'm glad this woman called her out on her BS.
It's not a rhetorical question. I brought you here because the field would have devoured 15-year-old you. So we tailored a course of study to your needs. And I work hard to get qualified people like us into seats here, but you're making it impossible.
In other words, she's playing the victim and acting entitled, and yet we're supposed to like her character. Seriously, is this a villain origin story? Is Riri actually a freaking villain? Or wait, are we supposed to relate to her because so many of us were misunderstood in school? Yeah, you know those people who were? They dropped out and either became bums or they made something of themselves outside of school without asking anyone for a dime.
I allowed some leniency, maybe too much, given your situation. But you sold completed assignments to students at every school in the area. Cambridge, Providence, New Haven.
Quite frankly, you have been a horrible steward of Stark's legacy.
She doesn't care because she has no respect for Tony Stark. And they're writing these new characters with the intent of trying to downplay or undermine the characters that came before them that everybody loved, which only ends up having the complete opposite effect because I do not like her. I like this woman though, because she's the only one spitting facts. Like, we're supposed to believe that, oh my god, you don't understand her. No, she's being real, talking about that's the way the world works. That's the way the world works. How about that?
How about that? Has a zero tolerance policy on plagiarism. So this ends with us.
You're right. I somberly accept responsibility.
Get the fuck out!
So she's all shocked that they're expelling her for some reason. Like, why are you shocked? Again, we're supposed to believe that this person is a genius. Everything they've shown us conflicts that. So they're waiting to take her out. And she's like, you know what? On my last thing, I'm gonna just steal. And they even say that they're making sure that she doesn't take anything that's not hers. While her mind did come up with this, it wasn't her funds that did, so it is still stealing.
Make sure she doesn't take anything that's not hers.
I would never. She built that with her own grant money. I did that, right?
Oh my god. Of course. Of course. Yes, she built that with her own grant money. Is that how grants work? If I take my grant money and I decide, man, I want to buy a car, or I want to spend this money to pay off something else, is it okay to do it because it's my grant money? It might be her grant money, but it doesn't mean it's her money. I mean, as she likes to remind us, that's not how the world works. Also, why does Blood look like a Ninja Turtle? She's roar, roar. I'm sorry. Okay, so literally Tony Stark suit then. Oh!
Hey, Trevor! You in there?
Sup? I'm Trevor, MIT's teaching robot and virtual operational resource and your very own AI assistant. Please say or enter your student ID to proceed.
Come on, bro.
So she steals the equipment, and then she's talking to the AI thing that comes with the bot, and then she's acting as though he's supposed to recognize her voice.
Very own AI assistant. Please say or enter your student ID to proceed.
Come on, bro. Don't you recognize my voice?
You've been working with this suit for how long now?
Sup? I'm Trevor, MIT's
Okay. 30216 RW.
Access granted. How can I help you today?
Take us home, Trevor.
Home is not a known location.
Chicago.
What in the shark? Bro, are you happy or not? Like, what is going on with this face? Anyway, this whole dialogue that happens between them feels like someone wrote this to try and make her look like, oh my god, I'm so suave. Look, I made the book pack pencil thing.
Chicago is an American rock band.
Yes, AI. Set a course to Chicago, Illinois.
You got it, Riri. Setting course to Chicago, Illinois.
Thank you.
But it doesn't seem realistic. Like, it comes off like she's trying hard to be Tony Stark. She could never. You know what I mean? Like, it's different when you have a character that's like a different iteration of another character and they're their own person. Miles Morales is a perfect example of this. Notice it doesn't feel like he's cosplaying as Spider-Man. He's not trying to be Peter Parker. He's Miles. So anything he does doesn't come off as squishy or socially icky because you believe he is Miles. He's his own person. Riri built a robot to look like Tony Stark's robot, mech suit, whatever you want to call it. Then she's all like, yo, hey, what's going on, my friend? You know, doing the whole let me talk all charismatic to the AI like we're old best buddies. Just like Tony Stark. But yet you're supposed to be bigger than him. You're copying off of everything that he does. So how are we supposed to believe that your character is going to surpass him if you're literally just cosplaying as him?
Still on fire safety. If you douse me again and I'm not on fire, I'm donating you to City College. Just stand down. If something happens, then come in. And again, let's bring it up to 2.5. 3, 2, 1.
And see, the wonderful thing about Iron Man is that you got to see incremental advancements in his technology. We didn't just get to say, oh, he's a genius, just full stop. Just love him because. We got to see him do his thing, fail, try again, fail, try again, and then see it get better and better. So it's like we were along the ride for him. This woman just automatically has the suit. And I know people are going to probably be like, yeah, but she was inspired by Iron Man, obviously, dumbass. I thought she was going to be bigger than Iron Man. I thought she was her own character. Please, pick a lane.
It's RW.
Access granted. How can I help you today?
Take us home, Trevor.
Home is not a known location.
Chicago.
Chicago is an American rock band.
Sorry, I had to go back to the whole AI thing because she's giving it instructions that she obviously didn't program into it. Jesus, why does her face look like that? But this is the genius person. This is the genius who is telling the AI to take her home when it does not have the location of where home is. And then she says Chicago, which still is not a home address. It's like asking an Uber driver to take you home. Okay, ma'am, where is home? Chicago. Okay? Like, is it possible for this person to use more than 2 brain cells at a time?
Home is not a known location.
Chicago.
Chicago is an American rock band.
Yeah, because hitting it is gonna make it work. What a genius.
Awesome. Hilarious. Handsome.
Anyway, she's like, text Xavier, and then all of a sudden they're doing a bunch of like comedy shots. I guess it's supposed to be comedy. And then she's surprised that her access is denied when you stole university property. Like, what did you think was actually going to happen?
I need some more air.
Okay, Riri.
No, don't give up on me now, man. We're almost there.
Thanos was just the beginning!
Hello? Trevor, where you at? Nah. Wait, hold on.
Hold on for what, idiots? You must have known this was going to happen. For such a genius, it is just baffling to me how she has no foresight whatsoever. Gasp! Color be shocked! I'm now up Schitt's Creek because I stole a piece of equipment, and for some reason I'm now freaking out because I didn't expect the thing that was inevitable and most probable to actually happen. Dumbass! So apparently, when the access is denied, that causes her helmet to fly off. I don't know why. Access is denied and the suit just starts falling apart for some reason. Well, that's cinema, folks. Bro, Disney has become synonymous to just complete whack-ass shows like Willow. Look, the whole thing's falling apart. What? Wait, hold on. How? Why? I don't even understand. How is she okay? She didn't have full armor on when she landed. Shouldn't she have, like, smashed her pelvis or something at the speed in which she was going and the force in which she made contact with the asphalt. Oh well. Whatever her superpower is supposed to be, I don't think it's her genius. It might be her freaking skeletal structure. Entertainment, am I right?
What was that? Switch to manual control.
Hey, no, get off the street.
Wow, he's so mean. What a wonderful community you have. That man didn't even stop to see if she was okay. And that's not true to form. What would have happened is somebody might have taken out their phone and started filming. Then again, if Chicago's anything like New York, this might be true to form.
Hey, no, get off the street.
I am so confused as to what time period we're in, because this whole this show feels like there's not segregation going on right now. Is there in this setting? Because it's coming off like there is. But we have futuristic tech, and this is in the same period as Tony Stark and Thanos and all those people. There's buses, like, I don't know, dude. But everything kind of feels on the nose. So far, this kid is the only likable character, because at least he's a way better businessman than this woman could ever be. If you ask me, the real genius in here is him, not her. Because at least he sees an opportunity, and he's a freaking kid who doesn't have a job and a degree, and people telling him he's a genius and giving him a grant because of that. He's just on the road trying to make some money. He sees an opportunity, he jumps at it.
I know you get me. Come on, my bad. Is it Ironheart? Hey, yo, Iron Chick.
Wait. I can carry your bench for you. Check it out. I'm not trying to be mean, but you look a hot mess.
See what a good little salesman he is? He's like, look, I see that you are in need of assistance, and you look broken down and busted, even with the armor on. So here's what I'm gonna do. I have a wagon, and I haul things. I can haul that for you, because clearly you don't look like you can handle it yourself.
And you're attracting attention. So, what am I supposed to call you?
You can call me Miss Riri, because I'm grown and you're little.
It's not a good enough reason to call someone Miss anything, because he's little and she's grown. Bitch, you don't act grown. He's acting more like an adult than you are. You can just say your name is Riri. Trust me, I also come from a culture where we're supposed to call our elders auntie and whatever, but shouldn't have to add that last part on.
What does your mama call you?
Riri Williams. Bad girl genius.
Hey, woo.
I like this kid.
That is terrible. That's your introduction? I'm Landon.
Well, nice to meet you, Lyndon. Look, we're here.
Hey, can we just have a show about just him and he's the main character and that's it? Like, if they redid this whole thing and made him the little boy genius and he started from his humble beginnings, I would have been so with this show. Because he's already more likable than this character, and we've only seen just like 2 minutes of him.
$20. Yeah, that's highway robbery. Hey, that sounds like a U-roll.
What in the hell is that? What? Is that a jukebox? See, I don't know what setting we're in. Because on one hand, we have people using equipment that looks like it comes from the 50s. And then the other, we have freaking futuristic tech. What year is it supposed to be? Anyway, what I find very interesting is that this woman knew this little kid walked all the way here hauling her stuff. And she wasn't even going to offer him any money. And she has the nerve to tell him that's highway robbery. When you literally are here in this current position because you robbed your university.
$20. Yeah, that's highway robbery. Hey, that sounds like a U-roll.
Sounds like a you problem. Bitch, you don't have $20 to give the freaking kid. He's being a good businessman. Look at him. Look at this kid has more in common with Tony Stark than Riri ever could. Miss me with that. This is the real new Iron Man right here. Anyway, I'm surprised she actually pays him. Like, what if she didn't have the money on her? Anyway, this is where we meet her mom. And her mom is very adorable. But she's explaining to her friends, mother's friends, that kids act out for years after a traumatic event. And she's telling them, you know, you say that, but my daughter's been like this all the time. So I don't know if it's just her being her regular old tired dumbass self or just acting out. I would say, yeah, that's understandable, except she's not exactly a kid anymore, is she? Then we get the exposition of them talking about how she wasn't able to say goodbye to Natalie or her stepdad. And of course, Riri comes in and they're like, oh, there you are, look at you. But then you also overhear them saying something which is like so insulting because they keep rubbing it in with this. And I'm sorry, the dialogue here actually makes me wonder who the hell wrote this and for who.
Out for years after a traumatic event. Come bring Riri by the top. My daughter. They could get into some trouble. If they're anything like us, we better get some bail money.
Riri?
Yes, Mom.
When did you...
Yeah, maybe it was meant to be a joke, but you don't hear any of the characters in this universe that don't look like Riri's family saying, oh, you better get the bail money ready, because if they're like us, we're gonna have to go to jail and all that stuff, or talking about thieving, or doing unscrupulous things for money. It just seems to only be designated for a specific group in the Marvel Universe for some reason, where their entire identity is just about their epidermis. It's like they just can't let these characters breathe or live literally in their own skin. It always has to be about that. No matter where you go, you can't escape it. And if that's the way the real world is, usually if that's the lens that some people choose to look at it through, for some people I get that is their thing, sure, why not? At least let the entertainment have a bit of escapism from it. Good lord.
Same. You know, Riri, Black Obsidian is also really good to have in times of grief.
Nobody is grieving. Miss Stanton, I'm fine.
Her mom lets her know, yeah, I already knew you got kicked out of school because I bribed the janitor to look out for you, and you can always call when stuff is going on, right? Why does Riri always look as though her teeth are too big for her skull? She always has this look. Remember Frodo from Lord of the Rings? She's always giving, dude. It's like it hurts for her to play this role or it hurts for her to exist as this character. It's very uncomfortable to look at.
Please tell me to go to my room and think about what I know.
No, we have guests. Do not embarrass me. Just sit down and go to this.
Hey, black people?
Hello.
God, stop. Everything always has to be so freaking on the nose. Like, why?
Please, stop.
Hey, Chinese people. Hey, white people. Hey, Rican people. In no other context does this make sense. And I get there's certain cultural contextual things that happen in movies, but why does it only ever pertain to black people? It is only ever that. I've watched a slew of African productions. They don't talk to each other like this. Whether they're Nigerian, Ghanaian, whatever. They never talk to each other like this. But in every Hollywood production, it's gotta be, ooh-hoo, black person on screen, rap music, black person on screen, thief, gangster, super aggressive, masculine, or super feminized. When the white people can have gay and straight romances, the black people only ever have queer and non-straight romances. Like, bro, what is going on with Hollywood? I mean, in case you didn't know that the show was predominantly with a black cast, and in case there are any blind people watching,
Hey, black people?
they might as well had made this guy a white man and have him do exactly the same thing, because that's how it comes off.
What's something that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
I got hot sauce in my bag.
Yes.
Now listen, I just want you to know, people are going to see this and say, okay, she's pandering to black people again.
Is it working?
See what I'm talking about? And all it serves to do is put a big old target on the group they're pandering towards and making them a freaking laughing stock. You know those people that try to say, oh, you're so funny, oh my god, but they're actually laughing at you and laughing with the other people and pointing at you, but you're not in on the joke, so you think that they're actually doing you a favor? You can't escape it. You just can't. It's just annoying. I see it in absolutely everything, and it's just weird how people don't see it. And it would take a real one to be like, dude, you might want to stop cracking it the hell up right now, because you're not in on the joke. They're all laughing at you. No, they're not. They're just being cool with me. We're friends. We're just keying together. No, bro. You are the joke. They're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you. No, they're not. Oh my god. And then you start to slowly realize it and cave in on yourself when you finally do. Unfortunately, some people do it a tad bit too late.
Hey, so I know you just got back. You free tomorrow?
Tomorrow? No, how about right now?
Yeah, that was cool.
Whoa, wait.
And why is she booking it out of there like they were keeping her there? I mean, I guess she didn't want to be rude, but you knew your mom had guests, and you know how your mom is. You must have known that you would be in a situation that's uncomfortable. You could have waited till they left. That's what I would have done. One thing I will give Riri, though, is at least she seems to be respectful to her mom and her friends. I've seen other characters who are just insufferable with every single person around them. She doesn't seem to have a really bad attitude where her mom is concerned. She's very polite to her mom's friends, and she isn't trying to embarrass her mom. So, you know what? Give her a point for that. What? Yeah, give her a point for that. Let me guess. This guy looks very sweet and nice. He's probably going to be the person that is her love interest, but she's going to dump him for a girl. Or for the bad guy. It's either one of those things. So they hang out, and I gotta take another point off of this. I know a lot have already come off, but good grief, the dialogue in this is so freaking weird.
I mean, it's Friday night, almost 8. So our girl's supposed to be at the clubs, trying to get some drinks free.
First of all, stop.
Say you doing too much.
Maybe you like this girl, but you were doing way too much. Second of all, she's not hot. Third of all, why are you trying to imply that just because she's a woman, she's supposed to be at a club on a Friday night getting drinks for free? Like, what exactly are you trying to insinuate here? That she should be a hoe and mooch off of men to get free drinks and turn out herself? Like, what in the world? And you trying to win point. What are you doing? What was even that, bro? Stop. This is why some people get friend zoned. I'm not even saying that to be mean, but like characters like this, I just cannot take them seriously. Please stop. Stop the pandering. That's not going to make her want to sleep with you anymore than she already doesn't. Also, you invited her out. She just got home. You're aware that she just got home. And she decided to hang out with you. And instead of you being like, you know what, I'm going to hang out with my friend and just have a good time, you're like, so why are you out there clubbing and getting drinks for free with other guys hitting on you? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Ugh.
But you, Riri Williams, are making an iron suit.
People are obsessed with them.
No, I'm pretty sure that's just you. I have not heard anybody else talk about iron suits except for Tony Stark and maybe the bad guy in his movies. That's really it. Nobody else that I know of even has one. And even if they do, they're so few and far between that the word obsession would be so out of context here. I think she's projecting hard. I'm obsessed with making one, so other people must be obsessed with them. Where did we get anything in this show to imply what she's saying? There's none. She's delusional.
I could build 1,000 other things, and no one would care. But if I could build one of them, better than everyone else, people got no choice but to respect me.
Wow. Full of yourself much? You could build 1,000 other things and nobody would care. Really? You could build a time machine. You could build a machine that you could step into and you instantly lose weight or instantly get long hair or instantly get younger. I mean, there's a lot of other things I could list off on just off the top of my head. Something to make their dogs live longer, something to cure cancer, something to give people superpowers. I mean, there's so many other things. And we're supposed to believe that this person is a fucking genius when she can't even think past the one thing that people are actually not obsessed with towards helping mankind. Small-minded thinking. But this is a genius. And all she cares about, people gotta respect me. You don't even respect yourself. Why would other people respect you? Meanwhile, this guy's like, I don't want to hear this shit, man. You gonna let me smash or not?
Smarter AI, stronger army.
Does that mean you gonna stick around Chicago to build it?
Oof, I need a job that pays. A lab so massive they don't notice if I finesse a resource here or there. Thinking, Dubai?
Did she just say she needs a lab so big that they won't notice if she finesses a resource here and there? Like, it means stealing? God damn it, all to hell. Why don't they write the white characters talking like this? Just out of curiosity. Or the Hispanic Latino characters. Why don't we have them being written like that? Oh no, we do with them. But with the white characters, we don't. I've never heard of the white characters just being like, you know what, I'm gonna finesse a lab. No! Tony built his shit in a cave. If he is a genius, he could make that work. Why do you need a lab to make it work? Shouldn't you be able to just find scraps? You finna be bigger than Tony Stark, but you can't build something by using the scraps around the city. You have to get a lab so that you can steal from the resources of people supplying you with that lab. I really don't get the mentality of why they wrote her character to be like this. This is the woman, Chinaka Hodge, behind writing the miniseries, at least that's what it says. Congratulations, you're now writing really bad representation for people of the community so that people watching this can think, especially outside of the ethnicity, that this is how everybody belonging to this ethnicity thinks or behaves. This is the best that the black level of genius can do. finessing and being full of themselves and being immoral. That is what you're putting out there in the ether, and then having the gall to call everyone racist when this is the representation that you're giving the Black community. I know there are people who are going to say, oh, it's not that deep, but except it is. Because whatever you put out there is what is going to be compiled and propagated. And I'm sure people know this.
Sharking with me, y'all. The ninjas is outside. Ooh, y'all, look at him.
What's up?
He is so fine, y'all.
Hey, bruh. On my mama, it's already hella janky.
By other cultures in society. And if these videos are anything to go off of, then we're heading to a very dystopian future. As this technology and these videos get better, it's going to be harder to tell real from artificial. And the people that don't know better won't know better.
What's up? It's your boy Ricky, and today I'm gonna clock into a job I don't even got. This Best Buy is about to be empty by the time we out.
Hey followers, y'all are amazing. Let's keep this party going.
Situations basically propagate negative images of Black people.
You guys should go check out this guy's video because it's really interesting. But the thing that, and he does admit it, but this is also a result of what is already out there that's not AI, aka the media, aka the media that the Black community puts out and tries to make it seem as though it's a representation for everybody that looks like them across the board. So when other countries see this and see people acting like this or having morals like this, they automatically think, because, you know, they're ignorant, oh wow, it must be all Black Americans that think like that. And here we have people in positions of power making media like this for Disney and Marvel to reach as many people as possible, but this is the representation they only ever seem to give Black Americans for some reason. Make it make sense. Also, she's like, ooh, Dubai, I can finesse over there. No, you can't. Isn't Dubai like one of the most strict places on earth? Go check up the laws over there. Also, in Dubai, women don't have the same standing as men. So as it says, as they're able to drive, vote, work, and own and inherit property, context is important. While women do have rights under the personal status law, some of these are dependent on the formal approval of a male guardian. That is a man, often a spouse or other male relative, who grants a woman permission to do certain things. At other times where women do have rights, it is hard in practice for women to defend them in a court of law. So, Miss Genius, shut the fuck up about things you don't understand and stop being so delusional. How can you be genius on one hand and super delusional on the other in every other aspect of life? But yet, you're finna be bigger than Bill Gates, Tony Stark, and Pym combined, when you don't even have the fraction of the IQ that little boy who was finessing you did. And he wasn't even finessing you. He was hustling. He was a better businessman than this woman ever is. That's crazy to me. This is the character that we're supposed to be liking. This is how they're writing characters now. I don't even know why they introduced her. We already had Shuri, and Shuri is more likable. I mean, she even has her writing issues, but she's still more likable than this freaking entitled narcissist.
All the way around the world to prove a point.
Everything here feels so, I don't know, small.
Including you, bitch! That's right. Look at the face he's giving her. He's like, she called you small. She called you unimportant in so many different, no, actually in just one way. Damn. You can't still like this girl after that. It's crazy how men will simp for women like this, and then they expose themselves as being so freaking shallow to the point where you straight up have her diss you to your face, and you just sit there being like, I'm so in love, but look at this face of disgust. Look, wow. Boy, if you don't move on and find somebody who will treat you right, because maybe he's not her love interest, because I can't really see how it is possible to stay in love with someone like this. They are so freaking full of themselves. Herself.
I hope you don't mind. Just wanted to show you the mural they put up with your stepdad and my sister while you were away. Not bad, right? I miss them both.
I just want Kathy.
You remember that one time your stepdad got stuck under the Celica? Like a jack gave out? He spent hours down there and refused to admit it. He used to say the car needed...
So he's reminiscing about the stepdad that died and his sister and all of that. And he's trying to make this a memorable night. She's uncomfortable with it, obviously. And this is a nice moment where we get to see a little bit more of his character. It's sweet, right?
He used to sing along to every song on the radio. Word for word, note for note. And you and him used to work every waking moment on that trash Barracuda. Whatever happened to it?
I don't have it. I don't have it anymore. I sold it for money. For my suit.
That would honestly be the last straw for me. I can almost tell that during this whole thing with the reactions, before he says anything else, he just goes on to the next thing. I can almost see the freaking telltale caption. He will remember that. And it comes back to bite you in the ass later. But we know that Xavier feels bad about what happened that night, and he feels bad that he wasn't there.
I made you something. Look, I made me something. A mixtape that I thought you might like. So I made you a copy. And you those two.
Is that a... Okay, what year are we in? He's giving her a portable radio and saying that he's making mixtapes. Aren't those from the 80s? What year are we in? Okay, maybe it's a different, like, universe where Tony Stark and them existed and they made suits back in the 80s. But if that's the case, they have that kind of tech. Why wouldn't it reflect on the rest of society? Or maybe that's just a them thing. I don't know. Why is he still simping for her?
Yeah. Listen to it later.
I got you. See you tomorrow.
Oh, it's one of the freaking criminals, and he's there with what looks like a Newfoundland. Is that even his dog? Did we see a dog last time? No, they were out. They were doing theirs. Maybe it is his dog. Who knows? Anyway, she's looking for parts the next day with her simping her friend. She's saying she still has to figure out the AI, and they're at the store where this guy is running a business, and he is telling them, this is foreshadowing, that that guy who's on the phone needs to pay in full, dude. Duh. I'm running a business, not a charity. Duh. Meanwhile, she's freaking out over here because remember, everything has to be for free when it comes to her. How can she finesse him when he's out here making a racket about how things need to be paid for? Paid for? What the hell is that?
I told you this guy needs to pay in full. All right, you got it.
Tim, I just gotta tell you straight off, okay?
Riri Williams. Did you look at that? I was just telling Iris about your big Tony Stark fellowship at that MIT school.
Yeah, that was such a blessing.
When you were a little girl, 9, 10, you used to come in here and haggle with me. You always were with that best friend of yours.
So we get another uncomfortable moment where this man brings up Natalie, her best friend. And what would have been awesome, like I mentioned before, is if we actually got to see a relationship between the two and the chemistry between them as friends. You know, so the loss feels meaningful.
What was her name?
Natalie.
Yeah, Natalie. And I know it. I know you'd be big time and come back here and spend all your money with me.
Jim, actually, this time I was hoping, just this once, that you'd actually let me...
Hoping you'd let her pay with large bills.
The criminal stopped her from embarrassing herself because he's using money that's not his that was stolen from other people.
Yeah, you know how it is. Must get hella embarrassing flowing what you have, right? You gonna grab your change, Miss Williams? This one right here? A couple years ago, could not open the local section of the trip and not see a story on her. Hey, finished 9th grade at age 11, started college at 15, and here she is, in your shop, all grown up.
And apparently she's regressed since then. Or stagnated, whatever. Now, I know being a genius doesn't have to be all-encompassing. You can be a genius at building spaceships, but not a genius when it comes to relationships. But if you're gonna have this character be a kind of sort of inspirational take on a younger Tony Stark, or a replacement for him, because let's be serious, that's exactly what she's functioning as. You can't have the character then saying after Tony sacrificed himself and did all of that she's going to be bigger than him and Pym and everybody else, but then show her being written to be more stupid than even the dumbest villains in the MCU.
I had it under control.
I know you did.
Wow, why do people always do this? He got you out of a very embarrassing situation. If you had it under control, then why did you take his money, dumbass?
Thanks or whatever.
No doubt.
Thanks or whatever? Ew. Oh God. I know he's supposed to be the criminal, but she doesn't know that, and she's too stupid to know that nothing comes for free. So instead of being like, thank you, I appreciate it, what can I do for you? Her first thing is, I had it under control. I didn't need your help.
You know you're too special to be haggling over trash, right? I'm serious. How come you're not working at, like, I don't know, Stark Industries or something? And you're at least as smart as that Tony guy, right?
I just met you. And he contributed immensely to the field, so I won't roast Tony Stark off rip.
You won't roast Tony Stark off rip? Bitch, shut the fuck up and sit down. Look at where you are. You're in no position to be roasting anybody, bitch. God damn, her character is annoying. At this point, I like the criminals better than I like her. And she's one of them. I got kicked out of college. I can't do anything for myself. I always gotta finesse people and steal and mooch off of everybody. Cause my mom told me I'm a bad girl genius and I can't get my shit off the ground, but I'm not gonna roast the person who's successful and sacrificed himself to save half of humanity in the entire universe. I'm not gonna roast him off rip. Bitch, shut the fuck up. God damn it, I can't stand characters like this. Like, seriously, who the hell does she think she is? Obviously, her ego is way too big for her misshapen head. Sorry, that was fucked up. But she's giving me Rachel Zegler vibes. I can't stand it. Oh my god.
But I don't have $1 billion, and I can't compete without resources.
Hence, you shouldn't be roasting anyone, because he could do that without money. He was in a situation where he didn't need money to do it. So, who are we roasting now? It reminds me of the situation I was in, where I was dating a guy that kind of looked like this, like he had this build, and I wasn't even talking to this other guy. In hindsight, the other guy probably liked me, but I didn't know that back then. And he was all like, yeah, his shoulders are actually very narrow. Like his hip to body ratio is so unnatural to me. And I'm just looking at him like, bitch, who are you talking? Look, you guys are not the same. What are you, Like, your body is so big that everything else looks microscopic to you. So maybe that's why you have to squint to see all them flaws on someone that barely has any, that has nothing to do with you. Mans wasn't even a part of the conversation. Like, I wasn't even talking to you. So where did you come from? Now that I'm older, I realize that people that behave like this, it's often stemming from insecurity. It's not even like, I can understand if he was just making a joke. But if you look at someone like that, what you can't do is roast them in an area of their life where you know you can't roast them. Like, you can't look at someone like Henry Cavill and be like, ew, look at his ugly ass face. Like, no, if you're gonna roast him, you gotta roast him for something else. If his face really did look wrecked, then you could have a leg to stand on. Like, if my lips are too thin or too big or they look just completely blown out of proportion, you can roast that. Because everybody, including me, would be thinking it. When people used to roast my ass for being too small, and my guy friends would be like, hey, Allie, turn to the side. And then when I turn to the side, they're like, oh shit, where'd you go, Allie? That was kind of funny. I was like, wow, really? But yes, it made sense to roast me because I don't have any ass. And I look like a freaking chipmunk. So yes, I get that. But you can't look at someone who is way better than you in a field that you're not even at the same level at. You're not remotely anywhere close to them, and claim that you're not gonna roast him off rip. Why would you even need to roast him, you disrespectful piece of shit? He saved your life and that of the lives of many other people while sacrificing his own. This is why people don't like these characters, and this is why when people are like, oh, give the character a chance, why is everyone hating on them? This is the reason why, because this is how they're written. Funny how this asshole didn't say anything about Shuri. Why didn't you say anything about Shuri? Oh, because Tony Stark's name is the one that's out there. Well, just wondering, had Shuri been the one in the part of the conversation, would you be giving her the same energy?
Immensely to the field, so I won't roast Tony Stark off rip. But I don't have $1 billion, and I can't compete without resources.
I get that. You know, traditional companies, they didn't work for me either. Not for free thinkers like me and you.
You mean thieves? Anyway, he gives her a card and talks about his boss. He's like, yeah, come as soon as you can. And so she does. Oh no, no one's there. When she goes in the elevator, she realizes she's in a spy movie where there's gas being emitted, and somehow she's going to die if she does not disarm the bomb.
Welcome, Riri. In less than 3 minutes, the air in this elevator will no longer be breathable.
Oh, what is this?
You're interviewed. You'll suffocate down unless...
Hello? This is illegal!
You break into the...
Oh, is it? I wonder why that's a problem. So he says there's a device on the floor with a gas mask and they're all having fun. Why is this entire group of people, like nobody there is, everyone looks a certain way? What are they trying to say? And she says, to hell with this. I'm just gonna do the thing I do and power up the elevator and get the strength of 1,000 gods. I mean, adrenaline is something. Wait, if that metal... Okay, I'm not a physics buff or whatever, but if she was able to bend this metal this easily and take it off, look how easily it bends. How is it possible that she can use the same metal with enough leverage and it not bend? That doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't the metal also bend under the pressure of the door?
That's exactly what I would have done.
I heard Riri Williams was a genius, but I said to myself, Parker, you gotta make this kid up close.
She's not a genius, though. The writing isn't even good enough to make us believe that. This show's making me freaking tired. So he tries to explain to her that it wasn't personal, and she asks him, why would you do that? I don't know, Riri, why do you do the things you do?
Because you're an asshole!
He says, oh, you beat Stewart's time. And she guesses exactly who Stewart is.
Matters is what you did. You beat Stewart's time.
Who is Stewart?
Present.
Stewart Clark? Like the Aura X fellow at Rampage on the Techmakers Discord?
Enchanté.
How did she pick that out of a bag of crack? Are there no other Stewarts in this universe? And if that's the case and she could pick that out, why would they repeatedly keep using his name on crime heists, knowing that people can pick him up that easily? Knowing that would lead back to them. Are they freaking dumb? Don't answer that. I'm not going to answer that. You can't answer because it's pre-recorded, but it doesn't matter because we all know the answer to the question.
Where am I? You know what? I don't even care.
Riri, I see you. I see you fed up with mediocre folks taking your spot, mediocre institutions rejecting your genius. Soon enough, you're gonna get tired of making yourself so small to fit inside those awkward boxes they put you in. When you get to that point, and when you're ready for the respect and the money you deserve, come work for me.
Oh, now you're speaking my language! Respect! I deserve it, Minecraft! Before she leaves, though, he's like, you know what? I got something I know you'll like. Money, 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 money. You like that, don't you? She's like, yeah, I really do. You speaking my language now.
And if you agree to do the next 3 jobs with us, you'll have way more than this.
I assume these jobs aren't exactly legal.
Not exactly.
Look, I don't want to hurt anyone.
It's not like that.
Okay, so what do you do?
So he says theft, extortion, breaking and entering, and she's like, alright. Because it's not like any of those things hurt people. As long as you can justify that stealing, extortion, and all the other things he listed off on his hand don't actually physically hurt people. No, of course. Let's just take things from people that they worked hard to get, that they broke their bodies over trying to provide for their children and making sure they're all set by sacrificing their livelihood and their physicality. Yeah, that's fine. By her logic, if someone were to steal her invention that she worked her ass over to get the money for and build up, and they go and they take her stuff out of her lab and clean it out, that's completely moral, right? Because they didn't physically hurt her. They steal your mom's belongings, take all your mother's stuff, rob her of all her items. That's okay. That's moral, because they didn't physically hurt her. The next generation of superheroes, folks. I swear to God, it's like that freaking game that came out.
What was stolen?
Stolen? Who's stealing them?
Us.
People were dying. Like, you could not be any more freaking racist. Like, I don't understand these people. This literally could have been any other storyline. But this is what they always keep going back to for some reason. Like, don't tell me this isn't a freaking joke. And don't tell me about how it's gonna come back around and she's gonna find herself and realize that she was wrong. You don't have Peter Parker doing this. You don't have Tony Stark doing this. You don't have Thor doing this. You don't have Ant-Man doing this. You don't have any of the other characters that don't look like Riri doing this. Why do you have the one fucking black character stealing and shit? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And why are the only black characters in the MCU the ones that are being racist and stealing and being entitled and full of themselves? Please make it make sense. You're talking about how these previous characters were problematic, yet the ones that you're trying to make more diverse and be good representatives of, you're making them the banes and bigots of society.
It's not like that.
Okay, so what do you do?
Theft, extortion, breaking and entering.
Why?
Why do you make iron suits? I'm sure you have a good reason why you do what you do. And I have reasons of my own. Now, you could try to get this cash out there, but you already know what it's going to come with. Red tape, delays, strings attached. Join me, and I will give you the tools to help you carry out your vision.
Stick with me, and you'll never go hungry again.
Doesn't he also look like Scar?
So you in or out?
That'd be worth it.
What a freaking shame.
What a horrible person.
That'd be worth it.
It will be.
When it fits a woman.
So he tells her to bring her iron suit, and knowing that she's working with a criminal, she's like, yes, finally some money.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
She listens to Xavier's mixtape, which sounds like hot garbage, and she's like, okay, I see you. That's how her face looks. And I can't ever tell if she's happy or mad or sad. It's just interesting. I'd like to see when she's enraged, because I feel like that would be her final form, or maybe her basal form. Then she hears something that is recorded, and she starts reliving that night where she lost Natalie and the stepfather.
Okay, but just hear me out. If extra power is what you're looking for, an LS one-cylinder head can literally get you anywhere from 10 to over 50 BHP extra on a port and polish.
She sounds like she's rehearsing that. I mean, obviously I know she is, but to my ears it sounds a little bit too dramatized and less like her character would actually say this.
Girl, just wait until we start road tripping in that thing. Hair blowing dramatically in the wind. You should get some
rocket boosters or something.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just being your average neighborhood hater. But those two do not have any friend chemistry whatsoever. It's like two people that you hired that don't know each other, and you sat them down on either side of the room, and then you told them, okay, each of you just read from these lines. You don't even gotta look at each other. Just read from these lines. And they're confused, but they're like, you know what? Okay, this is an easy $5. And then they do that, but they only glance at each other in passing, reading their lines, but they have nothing in common with each other. They barely even make eye contact with each other, and there's nothing in the interaction remotely reminiscent of them being friends. Like, even when they're talking about, ooh, yeah, we're gonna have fun, they look like they're over-dramatizing. They look uncomfortable. That's the word I'm looking for. They look uncomfortable with their characters. I understand pilots are always rough, but the entire focus of this is their friendship and Ninja Turtle girl over here feeling horrible and cut up about losing her friend. If she's that cut up over losing her friend, let us see actual chemistry between them. There is zero of that whatsoever. It only comes off like this Natalie girl is a mean girl and doesn't actually like Riri, and it equally appears as if Riri doesn't like her and is too full of herself to even see her friend as remotely equal to her. There's no background or backstory as to how they became friends or why they love each other so much, nothing. The entire pilot should have been us seeing them being friends, like actually a pilot dedicated to Natalie. If you're gonna make the whole motivation and catalyst to character development about Natalie, you keep bringing her up, but we don't fucking care about her and her wish to spend a night with Thor and his hammer. That's as far as her character building goes. She wants to be happy and she wants to fuck Thor. That's literally it.
Yeah, that's not my style. Well, sitting in traffic ain't mine, so get to it, genius girl. You know what? I'm gonna make you a jetpack, okay? Because I refuse to mess with the body on this thing.
Uh-huh. That's my girl.
Tell me what.
And the fact that he saved her first. Like, I know she was closer, but that still couldn't have been easy. I know. It's easy to say what someone would have done in that situation you don't know. But was this her actual father? I think, okay, this might have been Riri's actual dad. Wait. Yeah, Riri says dad. We can see in the captions it says dad. Right there. So that's her actual father. And then I guess he also adopted Natalie and her brother, who is Xavier. I don't know. Okay, so I guess it does make sense that he saved her first. Because I'm sorry, parents are going to go after their child first. Then he sacrificed himself trying to save Natalie. And he got shot too. Why would her friend Xavier not make sure this shit wasn't on the tape before giving it to her? Unless he was... Oh my god, unless he was like...
Everything here feels so, I don't know, small.
A word? Okay, I see you. I got something for your bitch ass. Why don't you have a dose of some healthy PTSD biatch since you want to be all nasty? How you like them testes? If he did that, that is freaking foul. But respect. Respect. I can see that.
You okay? Ree, you good? It sounded like you were crying.
What? I wasn't. I'm okay.
Let me help.
Why don't you go clean up the shop?
Gary's? You went by there? He hate the state you have it in. Baby, I didn't even know you cared about the garage. I tried calling you, but you never want to talk about him or Natalie.
So now it's my fault that you let Gary's dream die.
Well, it only took a little while. It only took near the end of the episode for the bitch to come out. Why does she look so much older than her mother? Damn. Bro, like, that's something. Okay, anyway, who is Gary? Because now I'm confused. I guess it's not her father? Wow. There goes another one. I just realized it. They had to make her mom a single mom. In some way, shape, or fashion, it had to be that too. Remember the Robin Hood TV show that I also reviewed? They also made her mom a single mom. Like every single... You do realize that there's black families out there that have fathers and mothers, right? Damn. Like the one masculine guy that we have in there is like, oh, it's a good father figure. Let's kill him off. Friend is actually more likable than she is. Let's kill her off too.
So you need a second.
Forget it. I'm going to my room.
Poor Natalie. She should have been the one who lived. Anyway, we get some more, I guess, backstory about this guy. He's got nasty black veins all over him, so maybe something look like the arc reactor reaction, but he's getting tattooed to kind of cover it up. And then Riri starts working on something, trying to power up her suit. Tony Stark would have had that working already, just saying. So she's like, in case I fall, let me put some pillows on the ground and start up the suit, smelling salts, whatever. You need to hold the smelling salts under you for it to actually work. You do realize that when you're unconscious, you can't put the smelling salts up to your own nose. But again, this is Riri we're talking about. Riri the Reet.
TARDIS. My TARDIS.
Don't you see me down here praying?
4 hours? Go to the devil. Wait, okay, so she did something and the power went out in possibly the whole building. Now, it could be me, but from the background, we can see that there is still light in the other building, so she might have just shorted out the entire building that she's in. Why didn't she just go and turn back on the breakers? Like, she clearly knows a little bit about electricity and stuff, so why was that not her first go-to? Like, when the power goes out, or I trip the breaker, I go to check the breakers. Like, that's the first thing I do. Or if I realize I was running too many things on one circuit, I unplug first of all. Hopefully there's not a freaking fire. Make sure the fire extinguisher is ready, because it could be that I overloaded the circuit. Usually the breaker trips before that happens, but just in case. And then you run and you're like, okay, let me turn off everything, make sure I unplug whatever, go back to the breaker. You'll usually see an indication of a tripped breaker, and then you reset it. It usually is not completely on one side or the other. It's just in the middle right there. The other ones are all the way to the right or all the way to the left. They're off or on. And this one is hanging in limbo, kind of in the middle, and you have to reset it, turn it back on and off or whatever. I mean, unless this is a building with enterprise-grade backup power or the router is somehow battery-powered, which the show doesn't seem to indicate. No electricity, as I said before, equals no Wi-Fi. If her laptop's on battery, sure, but how is she still connected to the internet? I mean, maybe she's not. Especially if she's downloading something big. Maybe it's just local. Maybe, even if it is, if it's a local file transfer, whatever the hell she's doing is local, again, how is anything still powered? If the server or whatever she's pulling from is also dead, the download wouldn't start or it would stall. So I'm confused. A literal genius who built a robot from scratch would understand how a breaker works. To trip a breaker, you go reset it. It's basic common sense that the rest of us plebs know how to do. And here's the thing, right? If we ignore the fact that her laptop is, maybe it's fully charged, or if we ignore the fact that maybe she's connected through means of magic or some other way, some other contingency that she had. It's still powered or whatever. Okay, that's perfectly fine. She's drawing all the power from the building. It still exposes how poorly written and selfish and technically absurd her behavior is. Because you trip the entire building, causing a full power outage for everyone in the building, because that's what it looks like. Tenants who are cooking, working, studying, trying to live. You want to make everything good for everyone, but you don't know the basic laws of courtesy, like be the change that you want, She just sits in the dark like, it's gonna take 4 hours. Oh well, I guess that's everybody else's problem. That's so incredibly selfish and immature for someone who's supposed to be brilliant. It shows zero responsibility, no concern for others, not even, damn, I hope nobody's in the shower using the elevator. And this further makes her more unlikable than they already wrote her. And let's just say Tony Stark is the kind of person who would do something like that. Isn't she supposed to be freaking better than him? By the way, Tony Stark would have a backup so that shit doesn't happen, and he's sitting in the dark like a dumbass for 4 hours. Anyway, morning comes around, and oh no, I think the transfer is complete. Then she sees her friend Natalie. It's not an AI construct thing. That's going to be her new AI construct.
Riri. No, you up? Riri, tell me wake up. Hell no. Natalie? Well, who the hell else would it be, bitch?
Cue the rap music. What's your superpower? What's your superpower? Sweet, delectable badger baby back balls. That was horrible. I feel like I'm watching Willow all over again. And I will say this. At least this show is better than The Last of Us. And that's not really saying much, because the bar is in freaking hell's basket with that show. They're still cut from the same cloth. And at the very least, the people at least look like people here. But this character is supposed to be a hero. If the comics didn't do very well, you're supposed to make the show better. This is your second chance to get it right again. It's like those auditions that they had in those old idol competitions where they're like, okay, we're going to give you a chance to get your voice right. And the person comes on and sings even worse than they started off. And we'd like to say it has nothing to do with her being black, but yet the show is trying to make everything about her being bad. Filling in all the horrible stereotypes about her being lazy or being unscrupulous and being a criminal and being entitled and mooching off people. Like, how many racist stereotypes can you fit in one episode? And Ironheart was like, yes. The writing leans heavily on, hey, this girl needs money, so she ends up joining a gang and does robot heists with her suit. First, she drops out of school, she steals from the university, joins up with the Hood's crew. Get it? Hood, whatever. Riri's supposed to be a prodigy, but her actions don't show true intelligence or strategy, or even an ounce of humanity. Instead, she's reactive and selfish with no business sense or problem solving, or even clever problem solving. She only cares about money. And people might say, well, she gets better. This is a coming of age story, and she's supposed to be someone who realizes the error of her ways, and she's relatable because she's in a bad place and has to do bad things. Except when you give us an episode like this, that's supposed to be the pilot. You're supposed to give us something to invest in, and she's not remotely likable enough for me to want to invest in her. I don't care about her enough or the writing enough for me to believe this is going to be a worthwhile show and a worthwhile character that I want to stay along the ride with. Then they use Natalie's being as some AI construct. We haven't even sat with any grief because there's nothing to sit with. We don't know jack about Natalie, and suddenly she's the AI for her robot. Like, if this is just episode 1 we have to go off of, well, we have a character who's very disrespectful to the legacy of another character who sacrificed everything to save everyone.
Oh, I won't roast Tony Stark off rip.
Yeah, could you do any more of a fuck you to the audience? But okay, let's root for this dumbass character who was worse than the criminals she's gonna be working with. No, thank you. Like, at this part, I don't even know why I would even bother watching the second episode, unless you guys are actually curious about what happens with the story, and I don't see how you would be. But let's say they do the second episode, and it's better, because I think there's 3 episodes out right now, but this was hard to watch, man. It took me like 3 days. Anyway, that was fun. I'm gonna go take a nap now.
I'm not beating around the bush when it comes to this review. There are elements in the show that make 0 sense. First off, the writers decided to say, would Tony Stark still be Tony Stark if he wasn't a billionaire? Are we serious right now? First off, Tony Stark cracked the Pentagon's firewall in high school on a dare. Second, Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. Meanwhile, some of the most advanced minds that Stark Industries could afford could not even make the same thing that Tony Stark could in a cave with the most limited amount of supplies. It also makes no sense that neither Wakanda nor the government that so desperately needed your invention didn't give you any financial assistance to the point where you have to do homework for hire on multiple occasions. Like, why realistically would Riri Williams and her family still be living in the south side of Chicago? You just helped 2 of some of the richest countries in the world. Why are you not getting any financial compensation for the help that you gave for both of them? And now you're in cahoots with someone that just tried to kick you in an elevator to test you, and you think that they just gonna let you go after a couple jobs. No! Like, bro, like, come on. But other than that, the show is not that bad as everybody make it seem, but there's some stuff that just made me mad about this show.